Test, test, test. Nice. Quality is good on both streams, it looks like. Alright, back to the mission. Finally, we got it working. I think this new software is going to work nicely, so let's see if that works. Alright, okay. We're about to get ready to start the translunar injection preparations. Roger, sounds good. We're looking into the data. External view. We are still attached to the S4B in Earth orbit and preparing for lunar injection, translunar injection. Here we are. And right now our orbit is around the Earth only, but we need an orbit that takes us to the moon. Okay, in this phase of the mission, we will execute the TLI burn, translunar injection burn. This burn is performed by the S4B rocket. After the burn, we will separate from it and observe it for a bit before we alter its trajectory. Then we will realign the IMU using program 52. Roger, let's get started. Do you have TLI data? Not yet. We will use the S4B burn planner to calculate it. Execute the burn using the program 15 on the command module computer. Capsule 1, go ahead with the TLI preparations. Open the S4B tool using the comms menu. Let's do that. Let's pause for now. We're going to go to S4B planner. And this is going to be our S4B. Oh, man. I've only done this once, and now I'm trying to remember how to do it. Pause. The default value should target a lunar perigee of 60 nautical miles. If not, reconfigure the burn. 60 nautical miles, let's see. According to this, we're at 60.7, so pretty damn close. Reconfigure the burn parameters so you get a paraloon of about 60 nautical miles. Default values, flight time factor is 0.39891. SOI angle, degree of 145.9. And angle of TLI departure of 18.0. So if I took this number and I made it 39.89.0 on pause. That's 61.1. That's 60.7. If we change this angle by 0.5, ooh, that's a lot of a change there. We don't want that. We'll leave that there. 44 minutes to translunar injection burn. Not a lot of time. We're going to accept the numbers. and go back inside. All right, TLI TB6 232.37. We are at 157. We are running out of time here. 179.330 burn time. Skip attitudes. We're going to pause. We're going to open up our crew members, pads and charts, and we should have a P30 pad maneuver form is probably what I'm going to put this on. While we're paused, I'm going to grab my P30 pad maneuver form so I can start adding data to it. Let's see if I got the right form here. It's not giving me trims here. I'm not sure I have the right form for this burn, but we're going to run with what we got here. Oh, that's right. There's not much I can do on this. We're going to run the TLI concentrated checklist, but what I want to do right now while the system is paused is I want to pull up my checklist. I'm going to pull up the transcripts. Our translunar TB6 burn is at 232.37. Right, so we are 232.37. So we're 40 minutes and 54 seconds from translunar injection. So if we were to go to 232.37, wrong. If we set this to 32 minutes, let's do that for now. Let's stop the clock, reset the clock, countdown. Let's set that to 30. No, you're not supposed to be counting now. Stop, reset, down. We have a 32-minute clock. Really, we can call it a 33-minute clock. So 33 minutes will be at 59:37. So at 2:59:37, we'll start our countdown clock. So we at least have a clock here counting down to TLI burn. So 40 seconds from now. While we're doing that, let's get ready for the TLI burn here. TLI concentrated checklist. 1:59 and 37. Let's make sure we can see the switches. (22, 23, 24, 25, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 6, 7, hack. Alright, we at least now have a countdown. It's giving us a little bit of an idea here. Hey, thanks, man. I'm glad it looks good. Alright, let's run the checklist. We have 33 minutes to get this motherfucker down. That's not a lot of time. But I don't have to do as much because the rocket will run its own stuff automatically. Toggle the seat so we can see everything. Let's get the checklist running. Concentrated checklist. Translunar inject switch needs to go to inject. That's going to tell the rocket what we want to do, translunar injection. EDS power switch is on up. Right here. No, it's not on up for EDS power switch. At least not there. Perform a delta V test. Let's get the EDS power switch on up. On up. Delta V test in the EMS. That's an optional test, and since I don't feel like I have a lot of time to run this, we'll belay that for now. So we're not going to run a delta V test right now in the EMS system. I'm just going to assume the EMS system works. We're going to set our delta. Oh, it's going to walk us through it. Fine, whatever. GTC aligned to IMU. It already is aligned, but let's push the align button just to make sure it stays aligned. That's a C. We're going to go to Verb 48 and verify. We're going to change register 1 for the Verb 48 is our digital autopilot. So we're going to go to Verb 48. It's going to bring up 2 registers. The top register is our autopilot parameters, and we want to change it to 31102, which is essentially going to set the autopilot up to do everything the way it normally does, except hold the attitude at 0.5 degrees rather than 5.0. So we're going to change that to 31102. Only data number that changed is the 0 from the 1. The rest of it is all correct. We're going to proceed, but just to make sure, because I know that's not right. Let's request weight data. Yep, that's not right. So we're going to change the weight to 60,215 pounds. Oh, I didn't click enter. That didn't save. See? That's why I need more time. Verb 48. That is a check. That is wrong. That is 60,215. Enter. Saved. Proceed. Proceed. Digital autopilot is now set up. Ordeal needs to go to Earth Ordeal. That's set. The sequencers for the pyros are armed. The rotational hand controller is going to go AC power, AC-DC, direct A and B. The spacecraft controller is going to go to the SCS computer system. The direct ullage circuit breakers are already closed. Set DET to 51 minutes. Dude, we're 29 minutes from DET. Fucking crazy. I'm way out of time here. Cyclocryo fans. Nobody likes to do that. That's how fucking Apollo 13 blew up. Boom. Program 15 to initiate and cut off. So let's run program 15. That's going to tell the S4B rocket that we want to initialize. All right, now we're verifying data on the S4B rocket. So what kind of data is in there, and let's see if it's all correct. So on the S4B rocket, we've got our engine start time of 2 hours, 32 minutes, and 29 seconds. That should be matching with what they told us. 2 hours, 32 minutes, and 37 seconds. It's not the same thing they told us. Okay, that now matches. We're going to click proceed. VCO Delta V, we're going to gain 10,435 feet per second. I should have wrote all this down, but I didn't. 10,435.1 feet per second checks. That's good data. We're going to proceed to Verb 95. Verb 95 is TFI, VG, and VI, minutes per second, feet per second, feet per second. That, am I totally off on here? I don't think that I have the right numbers in here. verb 95. Show me what verb, or now 95 is. Of course, it's not even going to show me now 95. It's not even in here. It tells me on the checklist what it is, though. I didn't look at the gauge readings when I stirred the tank. I know I have SPS propulsion, though. Now this countdown doesn't match the countdown that I have. I have 26-minute countdown. This is showing a 36-minute countdown to a start time of 2:32:37. 2:32:37 is not 36 minutes from now. That's 26 minutes from now. So my clock is right. This clock is wrong. We're going to go with verb 34. Really? Alright, verb 37:00. And we're going to rerun program 15. 2:32:59. That's not right. That's why. 2:32. We're going to change register here. This should be plus 0:37:00. Enter. Proceed. Proceed. Dude, this computer clock is not right. Although, you know what? I don't think I can change that data. All I can do is read the data. I'm sitting here trying to change it, but I can't change it. All I can do is read it, because that's not data that's in my program. That's pulling data from the S4B. So we're just going to have to roll with it and call it good. I think the burn's going to happen late. It's going to happen when that says it happens. That's not right, though. That's going to put us off trajectory. What we're going to do is set ourselves... Actually, you know what? Yeah. All right. We'll just keep running. All right. This is saying for TLI, launch guidance, IU, verify. Let's see. Our IU is up. It's not blocked. So it's in the right position. Uplink interface. Yeah, I don't know what was in the tanks. They're all full. So full of oxygen will blow us up. All right. That 9 uplink activity light on. Really. All right, we're just going to run with the countdown that NASA headquarters Houston has uplinked into our system. I'll keep treating this like I'm controlling it, but I don't have control over it. I have control over the service propulsion system in the service module, but I don't have control over the S4B rocket. I can monitor, but I can't really make any changes or do anything to that. It's running on its own instrument unit, which is right here at the top. That piece right here is, sorry, with the Z written on it. That's the IU, the Saturn V instrument unit. And that's running its own thing, so I really can't, all I can do is monitor data off it. So, yes and no. I already calculated the burn, and NASA uploaded the burn into the computer. And there are some glitches in the game, so I'm just going to see what happens. If it doesn't right, I can always go back and restart it. It's just, all I'm doing in this is translunar injection. But, you know, in reality, I would be talking to Houston Center, and they'd be recalculating the burn or verifying it for me and telling me that everything's right. Sometimes the messages that pop up aren't the exact same data that they're putting into the game, or into this computer. Sometimes they're canned messages and the data is a little different, so I'm kind of expecting that maybe that's a little different. I don't remember where my TB6 uplink light is, and I'm curious about that, because it's telling me launch guidance, UI verify, yes, and then uplink activity light on, but I think that was only why. No, that would have been after they sent it to me, and I don't remember where that light is. There's a few things I'm still learning here. It's not, obviously, any of these push buttons here. It's not one of these. These are my engines on the first two stages. Those aren't it. It's not one of my caution warning panel lights. The switch is right here, but I don't know where the light for IU uplink is, or UI uplink. It's telling me that I need to wait until 9 minutes and 38 seconds. Oh, I see what it wants me to do. It wants me to count up. All right, we're going to do what it says. We're going to stop this elapsed timer, reset it, set it to, leave it to count up, and we're going to set it to 51 minutes. And what they want me to do is start the timer at 9 minutes and 38 seconds. Or sorry, at 9 minutes and 38 seconds, the stage 2 SEP light will turn on. And then at 9 minutes, they want me to start the counter, so this counts up to 0 at ignition, and then counts up so I can time the launch, or the burn. Because the burn on count up should be, according to my transcript, from what Houston told me, a 5 minute and 36 second burn. I also should be setting up my EMS, but it's not telling me. Set up my EMS. So I'm going to set up the EMS on my own. It just says to put it in Delta V, but what I want to do is set Delta V, and we should be gaining 10,435 feet per second over that 5 minute burn. Can I go that high? 10,430 5.1 feet per second is what we'll gain. So, we now put that on Delta V. And so as the rocket is accelerating, this is going to count down, and we should have the engine cut off at close to 0. According to the checklist. According to how the entry management system works. All right, so let's fast forward till 9 minutes, 38 seconds. All right, there's 9 minutes and 50 seconds remaining. Coming up on 9 minutes and 38 seconds, I should see my SEP2 light on. There it is. I've got uplink activity light on. At 9 minutes, we'll start the counter counting up, which is down. So in 23 seconds, we'll start the count. And then we've got a lot of things to do in a short amount of time. Not really. I always feel like I'm rushed because 3, 2, 1, 0, start. Timer's counting. Probably a second or two slow. All right. Monitor launch vehicle tank pressure sequence, nominal locks at 40 psi, hydrogen at 31 psi. All of the tanks are full. And we're not going to worry about emergency launch vehicle separation yet. We're going to go to Ordeal FTAI 1 and Ordeal FTAI 2 and Ordeal Earth. Up telemetry command module block verified. So now we're going to make sure that they can't accidentally update the computer. So updating or blocking uplink telemetry from both the command module and the interface unit. Alright, at 58:15 the disk key is going to blank. This screen is going to blank. At 5 seconds later we're going to get program 695 back up. That's 1 minute and 40 seconds from ignition. After that, we're going to put the thrust vector control power switch 1 right here to AC main bus A and leave power switch 2 off. We're going to go EMS mode here to normal, so this system's ready to count down for us. And that is at 58:15. So let's speed up time for a minute. Seven. Here it comes at 58. $58:15. The disk key's going to blank for 5 seconds. Or not. Okay, we're about 5 seconds late on our timer here. It's going to come back on. It's back on. Thrust vector control switch main bus A. EMS mode is normal. SEP2 light is going to come on at 1 minute 24 seconds. There it is. SEP2 light is on. SEP2 light's going to go out. At T-minus 18 seconds. At 0, or close to it, we'll get engine light on, launch vehicle engine light on, and then we will get ignition. And then our disk key over here is going to show us our speed that we're gaining in feet per second, or no, it's minutes and seconds, sorry. Time for the burn. And then our feet per second. The S4B should ullage. It should be ullaging right now if we go outside. It's not showing. It might already have ullaged. I missed it. Ullage is where the rocket uses small motors to push itself forward, so all the fuel goes to the bottom of the tanks. All right, ignition lights on. Our feet per second is counting down. Our feet per second is counting up. So this is what we need to gain. This is where we're at. That's counting down. That all checks. Our burn in minutes and seconds is here. Actually, the timer's really right on the burn. 31, 32, 33, 34. Yeah, it's counting correct on the burn. So we are now igniting the S4B engine for TLI. If we go to our orbital view here, We can see our orbit is increasing in size around the Earth. Of course, this camera's hard to use. And this orbit's going to continue to increase until it goes all the way out here and wraps around the moon's orbit and back. And it's timed so that we will get here when the moon gets here. I think I was overthinking some of the data because this seems to be working. I'm trying to overthink it like I was controlling the burn, but I have no control over the burn. That's all uplinked to the instrument unit, IU, on the S4B. The only control I have is one switch right here. This is X-Lunar inject or safe. And as soon as I put that X-Lunar inject switch up, I'm telling the big rocket behind me, you do you, bro, and take me to the moon. There's a lot less. Yeah, this is very Kerbal Space Program. It's very much like it. However, you can't build anything. It's all real procedures, real checklists in the command module. All 419, or almost all 419 switches in here are functional. Reentry is also, if you haven't played it, Mercury and Gemini as well. And the lunar lander. Extremely, for a space nerd like me, I love it. I forgot to hook up my joystick when I turn this. I do that every time. Which means when I do get to a point where I might need to maneuver the spaceship, I'll have to pause, plug it in, and if I plug it in after it started, I have to remap like 2 or 3 controls. Not a lot of push. We're getting a lot of speed and we're light compared to the Saturn V, but we're only pushing 1G on this. It's not a surprisingly heavy amount of G. We're light because we're only the S4B, and that S4B is now burning its fuel. We're almost halfway through the amount of fuel that needs to be burned. We're more than halfway through the burn, which was 5 minutes and 36 seconds. Or that's what they say. Yeah, that's why I love it. I used to do some Kerbal. The math in Kerbal was amazing. But what I wanted was to try to feel like I'm going through what the actual astronauts went through. But I'm a huge space race nerd. So this is like, it's right up my alley. It scratches the itch. I never finished the Mercury missions because they got boring. Because you don't do really anything. You just pretend to take pictures, pretend to do medical stuff. Gemini was really cool because you actually start changing your orbit, maneuvering and rendezvousing and docking. But this is, Apollo's a whole other level of complicated. Off, we'll get the S4B Eco Light. S4B will cut off. Press verb to freeze the display or record on the data. 2,000 more feet per second. I don't think this is going to be a 5 minute, 36 second burn. It's going to be closer to 6 minutes. I think the data I got was just wrong. I think whatever data they read me in the transcript is inaccurate from what they uploaded. If I had real Houston control, it'd be awesome. awesome. Which you can on here in multiplayer. There's a whole mission control in Houston with each section that people can sit at. You can multiplayer with controllers. Coming up on engine cutoff. Maybe a 6.5 minute burn. Well, that cut off, but it is not accurate here. It's accurate here. So maybe I did the EMS a little bit wrong. Probably should have just let it count up instead of down, but for now, let's go ahead and turn that off because I don't want that making me freak out here. We're going to key verb, freeze this, and we'll record our data that is 6 minutes and 18 seconds of burn time. All right. Minutes, seconds, makes sense. Our velocity is exact velocity to minus 0.1, so almost exactly the velocity we needed. We're currently going 35,553 feet per second. Cool. Our launch vehicle engine 1 light is out. That's good. We're going to release. All right. We're going to shut things off that we don't need now. Like we're going to turn off our thrust vector control. We're going to turn off the pyros. We're going to set the FDAI to internal. It never told me to do 2, but it set it on this checklist to do 2. So we'll set them both to match because that's our smart thing. And we're going to press proceed. Shut the computer off. Put it in standby mode, program 0. Our high gain and antenna power can go off. What else did it just skip through on its own for me, huh? Circuit breakers for the high gain antenna closed, but they're already closed because I never opened them. Complete TLI checklist. Done. Checklist complete. We're on a trajectory towards the moon. Congratulations with a good burn. Roger, when is the ETA from separating from the S4B? Separation from the S4B is 3 hours and 20 minutes mission elapsed time. We're at 2:51:02. Pause. We schedule an eat period now, so take a little break and let's get back to the S4B separation and IMU realign at 3 hours and 20 minutes. Okay. Roger. Okay, we'll perform separation prep and CMS separation checklists to separate. I'm going to start running those now unless they have time-restricted items. Did it just blink? I must have missed it. Which light was it? The number 1 engine? I didn't see the text, so I don't know when that exactly happened. Interesting. Prep and SEP checklists. Lunar module has been replaced with a LEM test article. When separating from the S4B, we'll maneuver to observe it, and then the S4B before it goes on its own journey. There's no LEM in here today because this is simulating Apollo 8, and they went to the moon without the LEM because it wasn't ready. And we wanted to beat the Russians to the moon. So they took their orbital test mission with Jim Lovell and they switched it to a lunar orbital mission so that we could say we beat the Russians to the moon. No LEM though. All right. This guy just told me we are at 3 hours and 20 minutes mission elapsed time. 3 hours and 20 minutes to mission elapsed time. So that's 28 minutes from now, roughly. So let's go ahead and stop the timer, reset the timer, have it count down from 28 minutes. And at 52, we'll start the clock, so I have a little counter keeping me aware of the time. Three, two, one. So about 1 second early, but that's okay. Half a second early. At least I have a little timer now telling me when we're going to. Yeah, we're not going to time scale to 3 hours and 10 minutes yet. We're going to read the checklist first. All right. CMS separation preparation checklist. None of these are time critical. So I'm going to go ahead and do all of them now and then fast forward. Yeah, let me go back and look at that checklist real quick. The TLI checklist right near the end says launch vehicle engine number 1 light out, indicating TB7, which is the program in the rocket, plus 10 seconds. So I don't know why it flashed, but as long as it's out at 10 seconds is all the checklist says. CSM, separation checklist. All right, let's run this now. Why not? We're going to go over here to the center. Oh, I got to unpause. Center seat. We're going to take the docking probe and put it in the extend release position. We've got talkback indicators showing that it is in the extend release position. RCS, because we're going to start using our RCS systems to maneuver. Propellants for A through D on the primary propellants right here. I'm going to go open. We have 4 talkbacks showing they're open. And the secondary fuel systems are going to go open. Those are already grayed out, showing us that they're working. We're going to come over here and we're going to set all of our, these are all our RCS thrusters. And we're going to turn those on. Where they want the AC roll. A and C and B and D are different, which different modules around the rocket we're using. So these control the AC and the BD. We're going to use all of those modules, all 4 RCS thrusters. That's main bus A, main bus B, main bus A, main bus B, A, B, A, B. Alternating power to 2 different buses. And then the pitch motors. So those are roll. We have our pitch and our yaw. We're going to go to main bus B, A, B, A, B, B, A. So all of our RCS thrusters are powered. Now we're going to set the delta V function switch to 100 feet per second. Because when we separate, we want to move away from the S4B at 100 feet per second. And we're going to set that to delta V so that it will read for us. Our FDAI scale goes to 5 to 1. Our manual attitude control goes to rate command on roll and yaw. Pitch was already there. We're going to go low rate to maneuver. Set ASCP. What is that? That's not something it taught me. Limit cycle off, attitude, dead bad man. Yeah, that's not even in the checklist. This is running. Oh, I think that, no, all right. This is telling me how to do it. Never mind. Pay attention. All right, spacecraft controls are going to go to CMC, which is the command module computer. Our BMAGs are going to go to roll rate 2. BMAGs control this guidance computer, attitude, gyro. where this is off our inertial measurement unit on the main screen. RCS logic. Main A circuit breaker is opening, main B circuit breaker is opening, thrust vector control is to AC1. And our react valve is going to go to latch at 59 minutes and 30 seconds. That set our elapsed time to 59 minutes and 30 seconds. I'll do that. We have 23 minutes. Let's fast forward till 10. Because that's kind of where they wanted us at. We're supposed to be eating lunch right now. Astronaut food. That's close enough. All right. We're going to set our event timer to count up from 59 minutes and 30 seconds. Now we'll go over and latch the fuel cell valves. That means they can't close when the blast of separating from the rocket. We don't want our fuel cells to shut off and accidentally close our valves. They want us to punch in verb 62. Okay, done. Oh. Let's retract now. Okay. Done. It never had me run pre-CSM separation. Never asked me to. CSM sep prep and separation. Pre-CSM wants us to just align the GDC. I don't mind doing that. And then configure lighting to run an EVA, but we're not hopping out right now. So that was easy. Now we're going to run CSM separation checklist. Let's run this. If auto maneuver is desired, verb 49. Never told me if it wants me to do auto maneuver, but let's do it. That's crew-defined maneuver. I can run a checklist for verb 49. It's telling me that verb 6, noun 22 is our extraction attitude, which is not where we're at, but there's not much I can really do about that right now. Compute docking attitude. Let me check and see what verb 22 is, so I know I'm reading the right thing. Verb 22 is our pitch, roll, and yaw. So we know what we want this to be at. We want it to be at a roll of minus 60. And a pitch of positive 180. And a yaw of as is. Low docking attitude, proceed. Looks like it's trying to do something there. And then proceed to accept those attitudes. That's not what we want, but we'll run with whatever it's telling us. Circuit breakers for our logics on. We're going to turn sequencer logics 1 and 2 on. RCS command is going to go on so we can take over and actually have our RCS rockets on. Our pyros are going to go on so we can arm the explosives. We already aligned GDC, but we'll do it again. put our EMS mode into normal. We're going to start our timer at 59 minutes and 30 seconds, so 30 seconds prior to. We'll put our CMC mode in auto 10 seconds prior, which is going to be give our computer control. At 2 seconds prior, we're going to thrust X and hold. That's where we pause and I hook my joystick up, because if I need to thrust, then I need a joystick to do it. Because we are going to manually control the spaceship during a part of this. I'll tell you what I'm going to do before I hook the joystick up. We're going to come back in here and we're going to turn RCS command off so I don't accidentally do anything. Input controls, the controller's assigned because I didn't have it turned on. I have to remap at least the 3 axes. Oop, not that. And our translation. Up, down, right, left, forward, and aft. Cool. Almost time. So at 2 seconds prior, 59:58, we'll thrust forward and hold. At 0, we'll push and hold the command service module launch vehicle separation button. This guy right here. That'll cause the detonation. Yeah, keyboard arrows do kill the immersion. And it's a lot harder to control because keyboard buttons, it's full. Like with the joystick, I can give it little pulses, but keyboard buttons, dude, it's full pulse. So at 0, we push the button. Launch vehicle tank pressure will go full scale low right here because we've lost our readings off of it. At 3 seconds, we'll release our translation hand controller. We'll stop thrusting at 0.5 feet per second. We'll verify that our RCS systems are functioning. Okay, that seems all pretty straightforward. This is at 3:20, and we want to be 30 seconds prior. So that's 3, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Sure I can see the clock. At 30 seconds prior, we'll start the timer. Okay, timer's running. RCS command's back on because I turned it off. CMC mode's going to go to auto at 50. Then we thrust. And then we press the button to separate. CMC mode is in auto. Button's open. 2 seconds prior, thrusting. Separating. We continue to thrust to 0.5. We're past that right now, so let's go back to 0.5. All right. That's done. That's done. That's done. Let's go to the pilot seat. We're going to go open on our RCS just to make sure they're open, even though they are. Make sure none of the valves close during the explosion because it can close valves on us. We're going to make sure our helium valves are now open because helium provides the pressure to move the gas into our RCS rockets. And we'll put our reaction valves to norm so our fuel cells can function appropriately. And when at correct distance, it doesn't tell me what that correct distance is, We'll null our delta V. I'm curious what our distance is. You know what? Why not? That's probably far enough. Alright, we are now no longer separating from the launch vehicle. You want me to run this checklist? That's what it's waiting on. It wants me to run EMS checklist. I already did that. But I'll run it. That's why they're not talking to me. It wants me to run DV setup under guidance. Okay. It's waiting for me to run a checklist that I already did. GNC, DV setup, run. Done, 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 done. Yeah, we already ran that. See, that's the other problem with this, is I get a little bit ahead. And when I get ahead, the training and missions don't quite match up. So then I got to go in and pretend I run the checklists, so I can get them caught back up to me. Guess I'm just that good. I'm already ahead of the instructions. Okay, now we're caught up. All right, we're station keeping. We're sitting right there with it. On our way to the moon. Set CMC mode to free. Done. And manually center the S4B in the commander's window. We're on a fuel budget. Use very slow maneuvers. Minimum distance of 50 feet. You need less time than 10 minutes. Use time scale. Well, let's just maneuver here. You know what? I like to go up to the pilot's window and look down if I can. No, I don't like that. I can't see my rates. Ooh, why is that backwards? That's gross. Did I input that wrong? On pitch? Yep. That's better. So much for conserving fuel. We seem a hell of a lot closer than we were a minute ago. I wonder if I bumped a button when I was resetting my... No, I didn't. I don't think I did. They were going to hit the S4. It's going to make it a lot harder for us to maneuver, because now we're maneuvering at an angle to it. I'm not awfully terribly concerned about fuel here, but we'll play the game. Quick blast just to speed it up a little bit. He wants me 50 feet away. We're a hell of a lot closer than 50 feet. Of course, I'm just flying formation with it. I'm not pulling the lem out. If I was pulling the lem out... yeah. Stir that oxygen tank. So this game has historical missions you can fly. And right now, the only historical mission in Apollo is the Apollo 13 mission. And you run all the checklists and do everything, but it walks you through the entire Apollo 13 mission in depth. And what the guy has done in the game is he has pulled all of the recordings of Houston and Apollo 13 and added them in. So when you flip a switch and give a reading, you can hear Jim Lovell and Fred Hayes and Capcom actually talking while you're doing it through the entire Apollo 13 mission. It's terribly immersive. It's badass. Fifi's a funny guy. Yeah, we're angling slightly because of that thrust, but we can fix it later. Let's get some sunlight. There we go. What's up, Skyforge Fifi? Oh, no, I'm sorry. Fifi the Pirate. Fifi the Pirate. I'll stir the tank for you. I don't care. So I saw Apollo 13's actual command module. It's in a museum in Hutchinson, Kansas. And I got at an angle looking in through the open hatch, and with my camera I was able to take a picture of the O2 switches in the real Apollo 13 command module. Hey, there's the Earth, round. Should almost be eyes on here. And then I'm going to have to kind of make some slight adjustments because I thrusted while it was at an angle. There she is. Let's call that good for now. Where are my rates at? A little more. I bet you I'm just a little underdone. Need more. Why not? Let's waste all the gas. It's because I'm looking the window through the wrong angle. Centered would be this angle. Always thrust in an angle. There's no LEM. It's Apollo 8, so there's no LEM. I'm just supposed to turn around and look at this thing to accomplish the mission. I just did translunar injection. But I'm trying to follow their rules. They said go slow. You're limited on gas. You don't want to conserve fuel. All that jazz. Let's go back here. Let's turn the COAS on so we know where the center is. Got me a HUD. Can't read the FTAI when I'm up there. Or 0. See, I should have turned around right in front of it, and I didn't because as Fifi wants to know, I thrust it at an angle. Stay clear, but well, I'm way closer than 50 feet. That's probably why it's not telling me anything. NASA's gonna get mad at me because I'm too close. All right, I'll back away, Houston. Stay clear. The venting will start in 2 minutes. The feeding will begin in 2 minutes. Okay, NASA, I'm moving away. Fifi, do you know what they did with the S4B when they were done with it here? After they pulled the LEM out? Quiz you. It's called Reentry, Spy. It's on Steam. Download it, and then I'll jump in mission control while you're running missions. Terribly complex, but also super fun. So the S4B should start venting its fuel here soon. Venting started. I don't see it venting, but they say it's venting. May not be anything I can see. All right, we're on our way to the moon. what would happen... All right, I do an INU alignment. At least let me stop this thing from moving. Now that we're on our own, they want us to align the IMU. My delta V's here. That's fine. We'll keep moving away, but not as fast. This guy crashes into the moon. And then we put sensors on the moon so we could measure the impact when this thing crashed into it. And that would give us a sense of the geology of the moon by measuring the impact. Wrong button. Let's park the COAS. We don't need that. You want me to align the IMUs, huh? We'll use program 52, IMU realign checklist. This is a complex checklist, so a helper checklist has been made, enabled to run. The aid refsmat checklist. Okay, well, let's run the IMU checklist. We're on our own now, so far, all guidance has been given to us by the Saturn V rocket. Now we're on our own, so we need to align our system so that we know where we're at in space. P52, align, aid, refsmat. All right. Earth lunar power off for the FDAIs. We're going to run program 52, so let's first run program 0. What do you mean operator error? Alright, now we're in program 52. Verb 4, noun 6. I hate when it walks me through step by step like this, because I know some of this, but it wants me to put in verb 22 to change the bottom register. And we're going to change the bottom register to a code that corresponds with which way we want the IMUs to align. And this may very well be a shit show, because I think it's going to have me do astral alignment as well. Might be 1, it might be 2. Let's see what it wants me to do. So I want me to do verb 22. Nope. Enter. That's going to clear the bottom register, and it wants me to put in 0001, which is preferred orientation. So we're going to go plus 1, enter. We're going to proceed. Now we've got noun 22 flashing. Oops, I want to zoom out, I want to scroll. Option 1, verb noun 22 is our desired gimbal angles for new orientation in roll, pitch, and yaw. That's it? That's not... So this is complex. Yeah, it's telling us what our gimbal angles we want to be. I don't know if those are right because I don't have data on it. It wants me to proceed, and it's resetting the gimbals. The IMU is reset. Check FDAI attitude, but I don't know if that's correct right now or not. Program 0 is running, which means the computer's idle. We're going to align our second ADI with our first ADI. And then for my own edification, we're going to go into IMU realign, and I want to look at the actual checklist. No, I mean, we did everything right. I think what I don't have is data from NASA on and they're not telling me if they want me to aid refs map. It wants me to run a different checklist now. That's fine. We'll run a different one. That's the run. I ran the wrong checklist. I'm dumb. Aid refs mat is option 3. That's more, that making more sense. Way more complicated. Yeah. Okay, we'll do that. We'll go IMU realign and we'll follow along. Verify our CMC is on. It's on. Pink. Verify the ISS is on. Orientation, no. No at light. No at light is not on. Got it. Check. SCS is on. Verify optics on. I don't know. Let's turn the lights on down there and make sure the optics are on. Zero coupling. Lamps off. CMC. Let's go over here and let's make sure our optics are on. Okay. He wants us to do verb 37. Program 52. Enter. And now 406. Register 1, register 2. We're going to verb 22. Enter, and we're going to put in I need to push a plus on this. See, the checklist is wrong. You don't push a plus on a octal. We're going to go to 3, different option. That's what we want. Proceed. Now it's going to give us totally different stuff. Way different than what I was just doing. That's option 1, option 2, option... I'm trying to follow along in my little checklist here. Option 3, verb 50, noun 25, says on the checklist, the real, the manual rather, requests celestial body acquisition. It wants me to do a star line. All right. It's verified. It says that. We're going to go downstairs. We're going to pull up our star chart. And you know what? I want to make sure that my spacecraft is not moving on me at all. So we're going to put it in hold mode so that it's not drifting because of my shitty flying. Click on the SCT scope and observe visual and exit. I have stars. And on the SXT, I don't know if I have stars yet. All right, we're going to turn this onto slave. From C assist in select desired at mode, comp mode, maneuver to acquire target. Proceed. Turn my numerics up so I can read it. Brighter. All right. All right. star 40. Is that what it's telling me it wants? Verb 1, noun 70, target code XX. If except if we're P52. Accept or modify planned star to mark. So it wants me to look for star number 40. I don't want to go back to other checklists, but I will. We're going to go down here to it's hiding in here. I know it is. Star list. Star number 40 is Altair. We're going to go back to our map and see if we can't find Altair. Alright, Altair. Can't zoom in on that map, unfortunately. Star 40 Altair. But it's okay, because if I find the bright star, it'll tell me if I found the bright star. Let's find it first. Is it this one above me? That's Altair. I knew the rocket knew which stars to look for. Alright. We got the right star. We're going to go proceed to accept. Proceed to accept. Did I just mess my whole checklist up here? Where are we at? Verb 51 flashing means request mark. Good. We're going to go in here. We're going to make that pretty close to centered. Don't stir the tanks. I just noticed all the stuff you guys are typing. Chucked it at the moon. Yeah, they threw the S4B at the moon and crashed it into the moon so they can measure the vibrations. The game is called Reentry, but I am aligning the INUs on my way to the moon right now. It rang a bell. All right, we're going to go to the SXT camera, and then we're going to set this to low speed, and we're going to center Altair into the center of our star scope. And we're going to mark that star. And we now have verb 50 now 25 flashing, which just means that it has accepted that star. What the spacecraft is doing is it knows where the stars are supposed to be, and it has me find 2 stars, and then it measures the angle to those 2 stars, and then it updates itself and goes, oh, okay, I know where I'm at in space. Now it wants me to do star 16, which is Procyon, which should be not terribly far from where I'm looking at stars, but maybe it is. I don't know. Whoa. I'm going to click those buttons, turn back up the lights. I'll just use the star Altair. It's usually a star somewhere nearby the one. There it is, Procyon. Again, with my limited ability to tell stars, we're just going to look at different stars until we find the right one. Yeah, stop talking to me. Really? Oh, it's moving. It's just on a really low setting. My bad. There we go. We got a star down here. Not it. Janias are on our way to Procyon. So I imagine we're getting closer. That's probably Deneb. Deneb is nearby. Let's keep looking. Oops. Vega. Can't move the scope any farther down than that. That was Janaya. That's Altair. That's the one we were on. I think we're going the wrong direction for some of these stars. Maybe it's on the other side. Nunkey. I don't know where the hell Nunkey is. Can't get to that star. It's outside of the scope. It should be asking me for stars that I can see with my star scope. Vega? We were already looking at Vega. And we're back to the same spot we were. Deneb. Janaya. Am I missing a star here? Enif. You know what? We can change this. We did Altair. Let's do Deneb, star 43. Let's do one even further away. Let's do Vega. I don't have to do the stars it's telling me. It wants star 16. I want to do Vega, which is star 36. Let's double check it on the other list. Star 36. So what we're going to do is we're going to tell it no, I don't want to do that. Go back here and make sure I know what I'm doing with the checklist, because there's something I need to do to set star. Verb 21, enter XX enter. So we're going to go, what did I say that was, star 36. Now we're telling it we're going to do star 36. Which is Vega. Now we're going to proceed. I think I might have fucked this up from the beginning here. What star did I mark? I marked star 40 Altair. Proceed. It wants star 43 now. Deneb. We found Deneb out there. Let's find Deneb again real quick. It was out there. Well, I gotta get much faster at that. Alright, we have star Deneb. That's this next star it wants. Proceed. 51 flashing. That's what I was looking for. Zoom in. Ooh, to low speed, low speed, low speed. Marking that star. Code 6. Oh, I was looking for star 16. It wasn't star 16. It was code 16. Code 16. What does that mean? Let me make sure I know what I'm doing here. Fucking lost. Don't stir the tanks. Help if I were not in the star chart and I was back onto my P52-8 refs mat checklist. P52 IM2 realign. Let's follow the real checklist and make sure, because this will talk me through. Mark. Oh, that's just target code. Okay, target code. Got it. I just want to know what it's telling me. I want to know what Noun 25 is trying to tell me here. Code 16. What is code 16? That's the only part that's confusing me. I thought it was asking me for star 16. I don't want to be confused anymore. Doesn't matter. I don't know. Proceed. Sighting angle difference in degrees. Proceed. Delta V gyro angles, 131.1 plus 0 on X, Y, and Z axis. Accept. Should torque the gyros. Let's do it up here. So proceed to accept. It should have just made an adjustment, maybe even imperceptibly. All right. That was a shit show. Not a fan of that. Yeah. I don't like that. I'm going to do that one more time so I can feel proficient with it. We're going to go P52-8, refs mat, checklist, back. We're going to bring up the star list. P52-8 refs mat. CFC is on. ISS on. Optics are on. We're going to go downstairs. We're going to go into program 52, enter. Noun 6. Got it. We're going to go verb 22 to change the second register. And then we're going to go into, it doesn't need a plus, it's just a 0, 0, 0, 0, 3. It's lying to me. We're not pushing that. Enter. We're going to proceed. No, there's a manual. We know we can see through scope. Proceed. accept or modify star. Star number 36. 36 is Vega. Vega's within view. Plan star mark. Proceed. Now it wants me to mark Vega. So let's just do this faster and better than we did it before. There's Vega. Zoomed in scope. Low speed. Oh my god. Small type. Small button pushes. Vega is marked. Code 16's flashing, which I think it just means, do you want to accept this star? And I was looking for star 16 and getting fucked up. Yes, we want to accept that star. No. The marked star is, we don't want to change it. Proceed. Now the next star is star 43, which is Deneb. That one we can find. We like the star Deneb. We're going to proceed. Verb 51, mark Deneb. High speed. Janaya, Deneb. We'll zoom in. Low speed. Let's mark Deneb. I hate using the arrow keys for this. Even the slow speed is like too fast. There's Deneb. Mark. Return. 16. We like that star. We'll proceed. Yes, we marked star 43. Proceed. Angle difference. Accept. Proceed. The angle difference, I think. Pro. All right, let's go back up to our seat. Now it's just telling me proceed. Proceed, 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 proceed. Note angle difference. We click proceed. 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 Disk key on register 1, noun 25, which noun 25 is checklist used, factor 14, enter, and then it automatically goes to program 0. Now I feel like we ran the checklist correctly. Hey, now it said, good job. It was like, you didn't do it right the first time. Now I did it right. What a shit show. Yeah, Spy, you want to download this game and you're interested in it. Like I said, I'll show you real quick. If you're still up, I don't know if you're still here. Let me see who's still around. No, he's not here. I don't think so. He left. I'm going to say there's a whole mission control. And for people who aren't really good at this game yet, I wish I had a mission controller walking me through it. So the more I learn about it and run checklists, the more I want to jump in and be Houston control for other people. And they have mission control fully, completely, fully, absolutely mapped out. Let's end the mission and see what is next in the campaign. All right, we did translunar injection. The moon is rapidly growing larger in the windows, and the crew must prepare for lunar orbit injection. Is that what's next? Ooh, yeah, because loss of signal makes sense. Because you go behind the moon, and as you go behind the moon, you lose signal. Because our radio, you talk it through the moon with these old radios, right? So, the moon is close. The crew needs to prepare for a lunar orbit injection and a burn performed by the service propulsion system. So now we're getting closer to the moon. Now it's time to slow down and orbit the moon. I don't know. Do I have time to do a lunar orbit injection? I'm gonna at least look at it. I tried to do a re-entry into the Earth's atmosphere the other day from lunar injection or trans-Earth injection, and the first 2 times I did it, I blew up. Well, no. First time I did it, I bounced off the Earth's atmosphere. The second time I did it, I blew up. Well, are you working on your rig? Is that what you're doing? Vader? We are 1 hour and 30 minutes away from reaching our closest point to the moon. Let's go into our external view. I can't look around unless I zoom out or unpause. Pause. Orbital view. Here we are. We're going to zoom past the moon. And the moon's gravity is going to take over. However, we need to... there we go. It updated now. There we are. Moon's gravity is going to take over. We need to slow down so that this line becomes a circle around La Luna. At that point, we'll ignite the service propulsion engine and perform the lunar orbit injection burn. We will start preparing for the burn. Open the CMS burn planner. CMS burn planner's opened. Set the burn phase angle to 0 as we want the burn to take place at perigee. Then set the burn direction to retrograde because we want to be facing backwards, or we'll just go faster and get lost in space. That's a smart idea. Set the delta V to 3,150 feet per second, or a value that will bring you into an elliptical orbit where apogee is 170 nautical miles. So let's see if that number works. 3,150 feet per second. And that gives us a perigee apogee of no. That doesn't work. That doesn't make any damn sense. Am I in the right checklist area here? Let's get out of here. It told me to open the burn planner. I'm in the burn planner. It told me that it wants me to do a retrograde at phase 0 of 3,150 feet per second. Let's reset the planner. Phase 0, 3,150 in retrograde attitude. I think this is giving me... There we go. I think I need to click moon. Oh, no, no. I was looking at the wrong line of data here. 58.9, and we want 170. So 169.9. We're right there. We've got the right perigee apogee. Verify that the burn planner estimates an elliptical orbit. It's not showing an elliptical orbit now. Prograde. Retrograde. There we go. It's showing an elliptical orbit at just under 60 to just under 170 miles over the moon. That makes sense. Let's request that data. Let's pause, because they are giving me numbers now. We're going to do a program 30 burn. Okay, it's telling me I can use attitude 000, and then I'll do a 49 maneuver to that attitude. There we go. That's my program 30 burn data. That's what I wanted. This is a lunar orbit injection using spacecraft computer and primary guidance system. Guidance navigation computer. Spacecraft weight is 60,215 pounds. I don't think that's right, because that's what we were like 4 days ago. And we've obviously used up some fuel in the form of hydrogen and oxygen in our fuel cells, but we'll play the game. Our pitch trim is plus 0.72. Our yaw trim is plus 0.92, which is the angle the motor is going to angle itself at to make sure that when it fires, its thrust is going through the center of gravity of the spaceship, so it keeps us pointing the same way. Because if we don't do that, the motor will start to roll us because it's not aligned through the center of gravity. This burn will take place at 69 hours into the mission, giggity, 15 minutes, and 20.0 seconds. We are going to lose. It seems like it's the wrong time for that. This is giving me pitch roll. No, that makes sense. That's the x-axis. In the x-axis, we're going to lose 3,150.0 feet per second. And in roll and yaw, we're going to change direction. Or not roll and yaw, but x and y, 0. We're going to be at a roll of 133 degrees, a pitch of 248 degrees, and a yaw of 303 degrees. Height at apogee is going to be 169.9 miles, and height at perigee is going to be 58.9 miles. Delta V is going to be 3,150.0 feet per second. The engine is going to burn for 5 minutes and 5 seconds, with a change of 3,150.0 feet per second. STS-X is going to be 15 over 1.9 over 33.9 in a set stars 15 and 12. No ullage. Over. Holy shit, that's a lot. How long do you think it's going to take to put together, Vader? Alright, we're going to prepare the burn using program 30 to configure the IMUs, the preferred orientation for the burn. This way, if we maintain pitch and yaw 0, we will be in the correct orientation. Got it. Program 30. Burn tool should have inserted the values from the CMC. Verify the time of ignition at 69 hours, 15 minutes, and 20 seconds. That checks off my paper here. Proceed. And I'm going to run checklist 30 while I do this because I want to follow along. Program 30. Accept, reject. Now we're on verb 6 noun 81, which is our delta V components. 3,150.0 feet per second. All right. We can proceed. Okay, we're now in verb 42, or sorry, noun 42. Height at apogee, height at perigee, and velocity required. Makes sense, that checks. This thing's one step behind me, which sucks. Noun 45 is now counting down to the burn. Max value is 59.59. Press proceed to exit program 30. Okay. I don't know that I want to do that yet, but I have the time to burn written down. 69, 15, and 20. We are currently at 67, 54. Oh, we got lots of time. I don't need to do this anymore. Let's proceed. All right. Align the AMU with the burn direction. That's going to be program 52. It wants me to run program 52. Just let me do it. I don't need you to walk me through the run. I just wish it would start to go hands off and just say, let me pause and read that. Almost done with the base. Putting gasless on now. And I think it's done from seat down. Putting on seat and parts. Going to wait until tomorrow for that. Just the base is taking me over 2 hours. If any are identical to the H3, I will probably just use those so I don't have to drill holes again. Yeah, that would be smart. Because everything should be the same. Well, maybe. Got it. Earth lunar power off. Got it. He wants me to do, walk me through every step, aren't you? Alright, we've got that. That's good. We're going to change register 22. Got it. They want us to do, don't push plus. I don't have to push plus. Option 1. Enter. Alright. We're going to proceed on option 1. It says check FDA attitude. Cool. Reset our FDAI attitude. It went to program 0. That's done. We have the IMU at the preferred orientation. Let's set the GNC, the GDC at the preferred orientation. Day match. Let's get into orientation by using verb 49 to do crew auto maneuvering. Oh, see, this one, it doesn't tell me to run it. It tells me I can reference it. Okay. All right. Verb 49. Pitch, roll, yaw, 0, 0, 0, 0. Let's make sure we put computer in auto mode and proceed. 50 over 18. Proceed. 6 over 18. Spacecraft is maneuvering. And it should be turning us around to put our ass towards the moon. And it should not put itself in the gimbal lock. Yeah, triangle piece, because you've got the 3 connections to the actuating struts, right? Dude, this thing is wasting all kinds of fuel in auto mode. What is it doing? Just stop thrusting over and over again. Look at that. It's just non-stop firing. Excessive. Looks like it's trying to avoid gimbal lock here. Does it come with the new keyboard mount, or is that something you're selling with the old one, or was that something totally separate that you used? That's what he said. That big red dot on the INU, the ADI there. FDAI is what it's called. Don't go into the red, and then your spacecraft is hard broke. What is this doing? It'd be a lot cooler if I had a lunar module on the top of this. Oh, keep pressing over and over. I'm gonna have to, if I get that off you, I'm gonna have to figure out some keyboard solution. And I don't know if I'm willing to move my keyboard to somewhere other than in front of me, but I think I'm gonna need to, just because I'm so used to it. But I can't do like in you and a few other people's sim rigs I flew, they have the mouse and keyboard on their right side. But I'm so left-handed, used to doing the mouse and keyboard because I'm flying with my right hand, that it just seems like it would be a huge learning curve to now switch hands and click switches. Because I don't always need my hand on the throttle, but I'm rarely want to take my hand off the stick. Well, it looks like she's lining her ass end with the moon, which is good. That's what we need. Stay on that view for a minute. I will have to figure some sort of a keyboard mount out. I don't think I could use the one I have, and I have mine set so I can swivel it out of the way when I do driving sims. I might have to just figure out how to mount the keyboard in a different position permanently. That's kind of tough. I don't know. It's going to be lessons learned on that. Yeah, but I still do driving games, and so I know if I buy that off you, I'm going to be quite inclined to do driving with it. And that was my solution. Now was my keyboard swivels out to the side when I'm driving. But it would be a lot nicer to not have to keep swiveling it back and forth and just leave a wheel installed. Looks like she's finally lined up. All right, let's push Pro one more time. Fine tune a line. All right, it says it's aligned. Now we're going to do guidance and SPS thrusting checklist 40. Prerequisites. The CMC is on, IS is on, SAS is on. Test the caution and warning lamps. Let's test lamp 1. Lamps 2. They work. We're going to have to load and activate the digital autopilot. That's going to be verb 48. Enter. And let's go in and do verb 48 digital autopilot load. All right. We are CSM. That's 1, that's correct. We want to use all thrusters. So we'll be 1, 1, 1, and 1.2 degrees per second. That all checks. We're going to change register 22 to 0, 1, 1, 1, 1. Enter. Proceed. Verb 21, enter, plus 60,215 pounds, enter. Proceed. Proceed. Digital autopilot is now loaded. Pre-thrust and program 30 is done. Auto maneuver is complete. Vehicle prep checklist, EMS setup. Setup, guidance, reference, modes. Well, test the EMS real quick. No, I don't need to run the test. That's for reentry. I just need to put it into range set. And we are losing 3,150. Feet per second. Delta V. Delta V setup is done. Now it wants me to run program 00, but it already is running program 00. Now it wants me to run program 40. Program 40 is running. Verb 50, now 18. Okay, that's good. BMAGs. We don't need VG display. Roll 0, 0, 0. Pitch roll yaw. Got it. That's fine. BMAGs are going to go rate 2. All right. CMC attitude continuous. Auto. Or attitude controller auto. My bad. It is an auto. Proceed. All right, fine-tune aligning. QR4 rigs, I'm very familiar with them. Quick release mounts for... Yeah, but the problem is if I move my keyboard when I put the steering wheel there, I still need my keyboard. So that's why my keyboard now will swivel out of the way. If I just quick disconnect it, I still have to have somewhere to put it. That might be an option. I also want to find an option for quick disconnect for the Moza, because when I do driving sims, my Moza becomes a stick shift, and it works really good. We're going to push Pro one more time. 618 back to 5018. There's 5018. Enter. Okay, next is ignition prep at 10 minutes to ignition. We got a long time until ignition. Let's see, we were going to ignite at 69, 15, and 20. So what we're going to do is set our clock to stop, reset down, 59 minutes, 59 seconds. Oops, clicked it too many times. Minutes, 59 seconds. Countdown. 69, 15, and 20. So at 68, 15, and 20. 11, 12, 13, 14. In 20 seconds, we'll start our countdown clock. And then we'll fast forward to 10 minutes. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 20, start. Now we have our countdown timer, and we can proceed to ignition prep. Yeah, I know they have the Moza ones. Oh, thank you for the compliment on the interview. Thanks. It's always a pain setting those up. But it would be nice to be able to take the Moza and just move it over to the side. Right now I have it on a big 3D printed floor mount. I 3D printed a mount that bolts to it that raises the height I need, and then that mount has like wings that come off the front and back so that it doesn't tip over. And so when I do drive, I can pick that whole thing up and just move it over. It's really cool. Like, it uses the force feedback motors, and you can set up the different transmissions, 5-speed, 6-speed, which way reverse is, and you can literally feel each gate as you shift on the Moza. It's awesome. All right. Let's see if we don't fuck this up, because we're going to go all the way down to... I don't want to go all the way down. Let's go down to 20 minutes. 20 minutes prior, and I'll run the check. All right, we're 20 minutes prior. I'll run my checks now and then fast forward. We are getting much closer to old Mama Moon here. All right, ignition prep checklist. We'll call it 10 minutes prior. We're going to check the BAT bus A indicator. BAT bus A is good. And then BAT bus B is good. And we're going to go BAT bus B, and we're going to tie battery bus. That checks. Service propulsion hydrogen valves are barber pulled. That checks. I don't like when it skips the checklist, so we're going to go make sure we look at all the checklists. RHC. Power direct both off. Okay. CMC mode is CMC auto. Thrust vector control. TVS2 rate command. Right here. Pitch and yaw rate command. BMAGs at 1 rate 2. Rate is low. Deadband is min. Gimbal drive direct. To 2. Nope, to auto. Those check. Thrust vector control main is A and B. Translation hand control power is on and up. Rotational hand control power is norm. Going to AC. AC. Rotational hand controllers are armed. That checks. Gimbal motor 1. Pitch and yaw start for the auto switchover check. So pitch 1, yaw 1 are on. We're going to do translation hand controller clockwise. Needles move down. Move the stick. And the needles don't move. That is a correct indication. Now we're going to turn on 2 and 2. They're not caging the trim values. That's okay. Now we're going to move pitch. And yaw. And the motor is moving. I wonder if I can see it on the outside. Never looked. Yep, I can see the motor moving, but it's not at its trim values, so I'm going to go back and set those trim values, because I don't like that it's not there. Trim values on the motor is pitch at positive 0.72. Right there, and yaw is positive 0.92. That's pretty damn close. Now I should see those engine moving. I can gimbal the motor. Running out of time. Telling man 40 shows. All right, that checks. Neutralize the translation hand controller. Done. Rotational hand controller. AC DC2. Rate 2. CMC controller to auto. Proceed. It's doing its auto gimbal checks on the motor. It's going to take a minute while it does its motor checks. It's done. Down 40 showing. $15 minutes and 1 second to ignition. That checks. So we're in orientation. We're done. Dude, this is crazy to me. They lost signal. Let me read what you got here. Oh, hey, Jeff, you're back. Let me see what you're saying here. Oh my gosh, stop zooming in and out. Yeah, you definitely need to be able to advance time. There's a few moments where you can't. It's during launch and during certain portions of reentry. I have to fold up the GT light. Yeah, that's all good. I have an FGT that I've turned into a flying rig that I can swap out. And I have it set up that I can put the steering wheel and swap the pedals out, but I have to move the keyboard when I'm not to a different... The keyboard swivels to the side when I'm flying, or when I'm driving, and back in front of me when I'm flying. And I got it cheap. I got the FGT used for like $200 in really good shape. It's been great. And I've thought about a separate, like an FGT light for driving that I could just pull and put in front of my computer, because my second monitor also swivels over when I'm in my sim rig and then swivels back. We're talking about right now me possibly purchasing a motion rig off of Eric Powell, who's in the chat. I don't know if it's in the same chat as you. It looks like he's in a different chat. He's in Twitch and you're on YouTube. But so I don't want to have two rigs. If I have a motion rig, I want to be able to drive and fly on it both. And I'm going to have to come up with an entirely new solution for keyboard anyways, so it'll just be something I have to do some work on. We're past the TVC check. We've already checked that. We're going down to a 2-minute countdown. Let me get ahead on the checklist because we're going to do this burn. I was saying, though, it's crazy. These guys... they lost signal with Earth before the engine fired to go into orbit around the moon. So that whole engine firing and getting into orbit around the moon was done with 0 comms back to Earth, which is just a crazy important moment in time for these guys. We are getting awfully close to the moon. We are in the right orientation, though. This makes me happy. All right. At 2 minutes, we'll report TF Getty 2 minutes. Cool. We're not going to hear that. We're going to go FDI scale 5.5. Delta thrust AB right here. These two switches will go norm. That basically arms the engine so the computer can fire it. Translation hand control, or translation controller is armed already. Both rotational hand controllers are armed. So not a lot to do at the 2-minute mark. At 35 seconds, the Disky will blank for 5 seconds. It's usually late. It's usually going to happen at like 30 to 25 seconds. We'll run over tape recorder forward so we can record our data. We're going to put EMS here in normal so the EMS mode can work for us on this as well. And then from 29 seconds down to 30 seconds, we'll ullage if required, but I think that the data they told me was a no ullage data. No ullage, so we won't ullage. Ullage is where you fire the spacecraft forward so all the fuel sloshes in zero gravity back to the... Why is my computer suddenly running super slow? It's running really jittery. I don't know. Looks like it's back. But it lets the fuel slosh back so that it can get sucked into the engine, because otherwise it's just floating in the tank. No ullage. At 6 seconds, we'd stop ullage. At 5 seconds, the Disky is going to change to verb 99, and it's basically asking, do you want me to start the engine? We'll click proceed. It'll fire the engine. At 0 seconds when it fires the engine, we'll get an SPS thrust light. We will see this counting down. This will count down. This will show the percent of the engine thrust. It should be at 100. These valves will all show open because that's fuel to the SPS engine. These valves will show closed. All right, let's timescale forward. Let's light this candle. Yeah. And we'll get loss of signal shortly. All right, if the AI scale, arm the engine. Translation control and rotational control are armed. "35 seconds. Let's fast forward to like, oops, it's not gonna let me. All right, okay, loss of signal, we're on our own now. Roger, loss of signal, we are unable to talk to because we're going into the dark side of the moon here. Where's the moon? Where'd it go? All right, there. We're just about to lose signal with Earth. Or we did lose signal with Earth. 60 seconds to burn. Yeah, 35 seconds. At T-5, Pro, yeah, we know all that. That's good. All right, we're going to jump over here and get a slight head start. Up telemetry reset. That's the Disky blanking. I can hear it. It's going to come back. Bitrate high. Forward. Back to our commander seat. EMS mode's normal. We're not ullaging. We're going to skip past this. At 5 seconds, verb 99. Push. 0. Ignition. Here it comes. Verb 99, proceed, push. Engine thrust light is on. Counting down, 100% thrust. Valves are open, valves are closed. Down 40 is running. And we monitor our fuel and oxidizer to make sure they're counting down close to the same and balanced. You have to keep them balanced, and if it's not balanced, you put more or less oxygen into the burn to balance them. Right now they're running balanced. EDIs are staying normal. Waiting for SPS cutoff, which is this light turning off. Brakes and wrap our orbit, which you can see the line is closing. It's getting smaller. And at the end of that burn, that orbit should be around the moon. It's definitely changing. I like racing with the all the semi-auto paddle shift stuff, but there's some other games where I'm not racing like competitively, but it's just so much fun having that gear shift. Engine, let's see if the engine burn time is correct. 5 minutes and 5 seconds is what it says. So we're almost halfway through the burn. Our fuel and oxidizer are still balanced. Alright, when cutoff, we'll get a cutoff light. This will go into 1640, which will be monitoring our current status. Turn off our engine delta V's down here. Make sure this is in norm because that's how you manually turn the rocket engine on. Make sure the engine goes to 0% and all the valves closed. It's there. It's around the moon. We just tighten it up to 170 mile by 60 mile orbit. Well, that burn seemed to be about a minute too short from the data they told me. Okay. It even shows it on here that we're like not on speed. Engine safe, 0%. Valves closed, helium valves closed. Servos are null for the gimbal. BMAGs. Rate. Altitude 1, rate 2. Free mode. Turn the gimbals off so the motor doesn't move. Thrust vector control powers off. The circuit breakers are pulled. EMS mode goes to standby. I don't feel like that is the right burn, but we'll have to check our perigee and apogee. Bit rate can go to low. Record our delta V info. It shows that we're 637, although our orbit looks good. Apogee's 55.2, or sorry, perigee. Apogee is 175.4, so it's close. We're pretty damn close. I don't know why the burn time was off from what they told me. Let's finish the checklist first. Record. It wants me to proceed. Proceed. Now 85. It's telling me that its null rates are damn near 0, so it should have achieved exactly what it wanted. I wonder if there was a little... Well, I don't think there was an issue. We can null those rates, but there's no reason to do that right now. That's close enough. Proceed. We're going to untie the battery from main bus B. Record burn data. EMS is off. Translation hand control power off. Checklist is complete. Our next task will be to circulate the orbit, because our orbit's not a circle. So we need to circulate it, which sucks because we got to go all the way around the moon if we're going to circulate it at 55 or 60 nautical miles. Let's go. Around the moon is short. Yeah, right. Got to get that Earthrise, that Apollo 8 stuff. I never learned heel toe. I want to. About 60 miles, where we're about 4.5 miles slower than we need to be. Okay, so we need a rise PE at apogee, phase 180. That's great. No, that's not going to work, because I need to raise my apogee on the other side to 55. Although I wonder, I can't do anything at perigee now. I have to do that at apogee. Oh no, 59.9 plus or minus 14.6 miles. We're good. 55.2 meets the objective. So now we just go all the way around to perigee. We're already in retrograde attitude. We're going to use a delta V of, well, we're going to use a delta V of 145. We're going to use a delta V of whatever the burn planner tells us to bring apogee down to, see if I can circulate it down to 55.2. So a perfectly circular orbit. Let's run that. Burn planner. Reset planner. Phase angle of 0, which is at perigee. Let's go 145 in retrograde. Let's go to orbital view. Moon, we're there. Back to the burn planner. 0, 145. Prograde, retrograde, reset. So 145 will give us a 59.4 by 55.2. So what if we do 146 feet per second? .7, 148 feet per second, 57.2, 149 feet per second, 56.4, make it a 150 feet per second. Drops us down to 55.7. Can I get even closer to perfectly circular? No. That changes my already existing perigee. We're going to put our orbit into 55.7 by 55.2, so almost perfectly circular. Request burn data. All right. It's going to give me the burn data I asked for, not the burn data it told me to run. Sim is paused for a moment while I print a new pad 30. Are you not printing? There we go. Now it's printing. All right, I don't need to pause the sim because we have a while until we get back around to perigee again. Done for the night? All right. Maneuver burn using spacecraft systems and guidance navigation computer with a spacecraft weight now of 47,270. We were 61,215, so we burned 1,400 pounds of fuel. Gimbals of minus 0.17 on the pitch for the engine and minus 0.07. That's not even something I can set. Those numbers change because our 70-hour gravity has changed. Burning at 71 hours, 33 minutes, and 25.0 seconds. We're going to lose 150 feet per second in the x-axis and 0 in the y and z axis with a spacecraft roll of 0, a pitch of 340 degrees, and a yaw of 360. That'll put us at 55.7 over 55.2 miles. 150 feet per second. Burning the engine for 14 seconds. No give a shit about the stars right now. We're aligned. Though I could, if I wanted to, roll the spaceship to this attitude and then align the navigation system off the stars to make sure that we're perfectly aligned before we go do crazy shit like light the engine. But I'm not going to do that because I'm running out of time. Okie dokie. We are lighting the candle at 71:35:25. So we have a while to go. We're going to stop the clock, reset, count down from 59. 59, 1 hour from 71:35:25. So we need to go to 70:35:25. So 2 hours from now is when we light the engine. Where are we at on the around the moon, by the way? We're not even anywhere close. What if I speed the time up, if I can get a nice Earthrise picture here? Make sure I'm not going too far. Oh no, we got plenty of time. I want to go to 70:35. We have a while. course, I'm not able to see because I'm angled the wrong way. So we're going to have to pitch our nose down here in a minute. I'm curious. Let's turn our direct hand controllers on. In free mode, translation hand controllers on. We're going to pitch. Is it up or down? Oh, I missed Earthrise. It's already there. Oh, well, that's too bad. I thought it was going to be a little further down. Bummer. I missed Earthrise. Would have been nice if I was just orbiting in the right attitude and did it right. No Earthrise. All right. We're looking for 70, 35, 25. Oh, I just missed it. All right. 70, 36, 25 would be 58 minutes. I might be able to reset this in time. .7 minutes. Really? Reset. Countdown. 50. 7 minutes. And 50. 9 seconds. Hey, Hawk. This is Mercury, Apollo, Gemini, a very in-depth sim. It's awesome. It's called Reentry. 4:25, start, countdown to ignition for circulating the burn. All right. We are now 1 hour out. Let's run program 30. 71:33. Oh, I had the time wrong. 71:33. It's all right. We'll have a countdown on here that we can adjust. And 25. My handwriting sucks. That time checks. 149.1 feet per second checks. 55.7 nautical mile by 55.2 nautical mile orbit with 150 feet per second change checks. So we're 55 minutes from ignition. So let's reset the clock to 55. Let's just stop it, reset it, count down to 54 minutes. So I have an accurate timer. And 40 seconds. Alright, my timers are synced, so I have an accurate countdown here. And we're done with that program for now. Let's go ahead and do verb 48 and set up our autopilot. 11101 is correct. 11111 is correct. Proceed. Our spacecraft weight is changed to 47,270 pounds. Our autopilot is now configured. Now we'll align this attitude indicator with the heading that we want to be on, or the orientation we want to be on for. Let's program 52. Option 1. That is let's double check and make sure I'm not screwing this up. It's P51, we're doing P52. Preferred mode. Let's just make sure. We did that, we did that, we did that. We did that. That's correct. So those are the gimbal torques to move this to the attitude we want to be at. Proceed. All right, our attitude is reset. We want to make sure both our primary INU and our guidance computer INU are aligned. It's this button right here. Oops. Okay, they're both guidance systems are now aligned. All right, let's move the spaceship into the right attitude. That's verb 49, crew define maneuver. 000s are correct. We need to be in auto mode. I don't need my hand controller on right now. Proceed, 5018, flashing, saying, do you want me to move? And you say, yep, move. And the rocket is now going to align itself. We're past apogee. We'll ignite the engine at perigee to bring this part of the orbit closer to the moon. I was wondering about that back bracket and your belt tensioner, Vader. Once it's done aligning, it'll go to verb 50. We'll proceed one more time just to make sure there's no fine-tuning needed on the alignment. It's doing a little bit of fine-tuning. Verb 50. One more time. No thrusting. Verb 50. Enter. We are now aligned. Now we'll run program. Let me double check. Should be program 40. Guidance navigation, SPS thrusting. Let's run that checklist. CMC's on, ISS is on, SCS is on. We'll test the caution and warning lamps every time. 1 works, 2 works. We've already loaded the digital autopilot with verb 48. Pre-thrust programming is correct in program 30. Verb 49, we've completed the auto maneuver. We're now on vehicle prep. We'll set up our EMS system. Delta V set at 150 feet per second. Delta V, standby, that's set. We don't need to go into verb 0 because we're already there. So we'll run program 40. And program 40, verb 18 is flashing. We'll put our BMAGs on rate 2. Let's follow along the checklist because it's skipping things that I've already done. CMC is auto. Proceed, verb 618. That's auto maneuvering, and it's already there. One more time, verb 618. We are already aligned with the ignition. We're going to move to ignition prep. And we don't do anything now until 10 minutes prior. So let's time stamp forward. Let's stop at 20 minutes. And let's just see what we think here. We're moving around to the dark side of the moon. I feel like the spacecraft is positioned correctly, that when we get on the backside, it's going to be pointing the right direction. So just like it shows here, when we finally get here, the nozzle should be pointing that way. Everything feels comfy and cozy on our attitude. Just want to make sure I had a little time to fix it if it looked wrong. Alright, ignition prep 10 minutes prior. We're going to check battery bus A. And we're going to put the bat tie A to C on, and we should see the volts drop and the load increase. And it does. Battery bus B, tie it to the system. Amps, volts, check. Helium valves are in auto. And talkbacks are barber poled. Rotational hand controller direct power is off on both. CMC auto is checked. Thrust vector control down here should be in rate command for pitch and yaw. It is. Emags go at 1 rate 2. Rate is low. Deadband is min. Gimbal drive 2 auto. What does that say again? TVC gimbal drive 2 auto. Where are those at? Right here. Thrust vector control gimbal drives in auto. We're going to do our gimbal drive check again. Circuit breakers are already in. No, they're not. We pulled them before. Close the circuit breakers for the pitch and yaw. Thrust vector control is going to go to AC main 2, AC2 main B. Let's see, translation hand control power is already on. Rotational hand control power is going to AC. The controllers are armed. Our gimbals for the rocket engine, which you can see here where it's pointing, are going to go pitch and yaw 1 on. Auto switchover check. Translation hand controller is to clockwise. Then we are now going to move in pitch and yaw and see that these don't move. And they don't move. That's a good check. We're now going to turn on motors 2. We're going to set our trim. Trim for the engine and pitch was 0.17. I can't even see 0.17 on there. It doesn't go that far. I'll call it, that's close enough. And 0.07, which is pretty much dead nuts on 0. And now we'll pitch and yaw the motor, and the motor pitches and yaws, which we can see from outside if it wasn't dark. It's now dark. If I zoom out, I get a little sunlight. It's too far away to see it move, though. But the engine bell is moving. Translation hand controller goes to neutral to turn that test off. And then we reset back to normal functions. AC1, DC2, rate 2. We're now going to proceed to program. No, we're good on that. Enter. Program 204. If we click proceed, it's going to run through its automatic check of the motor's gimbals. Motor's pitching up, down, yawing left, yawing right. That check was supposed to be done at 5 minutes. We got it done early. We're on verb 6, noun 40, 6.5 minutes to engine ignition, 150 feet per second with a total velocity of 5,335 feet per second to set this orbit. Fast forward to 2 minutes. We'll get a few more things set up for the ignition. Two minutes. FDAI scale is 5. That's already set. 5. We're going to turn the motors on. The motor, the switches. That lets the computer fire the rocket engine. Translation hand controllers are armed. Rotational hand controllers are armed. We don't need to know that the disk is going to clear at 35 seconds. It will. It'll come back at 30. We'll reset our telemetry so we're sending signals the way NASA wants them. This is a no ullage burn, I believe. No ullage, so we don't have to ullage the spaceship. I mean, we would. I don't know why it says no ullage. I think it's just because it's not fully implemented yet. Alright, let's run this checklist just a step or two ahead. We're going to go over here and we're going to reset telemetry. We're going to go high bit rate, forward on the tape recorder. Entry management system mode normal. We're not ullaging down to the last few seconds. Disky blinks at 35. Comes back on at 30 seconds. Kind of giving us a clue that, hey, you're 30 seconds. Get ready. Alright. At 5 seconds, verb 99, which is it asking me permission to fire the engine, we'll press proceed. Here comes 5 seconds. Verb 99, proceed. Waiting for ignition. Thrust light on, counting down, 100%. Valves are open, Fuel is balanced. Thrust light is off. Thrust light out. Down 40. Counting seconds up from burn. 0 on the speed. Motors are off. Percent of engine is 0. Fuel valves are closed. Helium valves are closed. Gimbal positions are centered. EMAG goes to at 1 rate 2, free mode, and we'll turn the motors off to move the gimbals on the engine. Translation, the thrust vector control is off, circuit breakers are pulled, the system is safe. EMS mode standby, let's go ahead and turn EMS mode off. PCM bitrate low. Record our data. Minus 0.1 feet per second. Proceed. 85. These are our nulls. So in X, Y, and Z, we're all 0.1 foot per second off from what we should be. Proceed again. Turn the computer off. Untie the battery buses. So we're not draining the batteries anymore. EMS is already off. Translation hand control power is off. Direct control power is off. Checklist is complete. Next task is to observe the lunar surface and check the area for of the Sea of Tranquility. Alright. Open the map. The lunar surface. We're looking for a little ocean on the lunar equator, 30 degrees left from center. Marked for us on here. Sea Sea of Tranquility. Okay. I want to check my orbit real quick and make sure we have done what we were supposed to. Let's like validate our data. 55. Point. Come on. I want to see both those. I want to see just that one. Why are you doing that? 55.9 miles by 55.0. Pretty close to what the intent was. Timescale to get the CMS closer to the location and orient the spacecraft so you can see the Sea of Tranquility through the window, observe the sea and its landscape, press done when complete. Command modules over here. That's me. Moving. If I timescale forward, it should show me. Moving away. Well, we know the Sea of Tranquility is on the sunlit side. We're just maneuvering into position. We're on the dark side. Let's just move time forward until we're at least coming around to the right side. You know, I don't know that I can trust what I'm seeing on the map here. Oh, there. I was looking at the wrong thing. Well, my bad. Mare Tranquillatus, the Sea of Tranquility. We are coming up on the Sea of Tranquility. Which is right here. So we need to maneuver the spacecraft so that we can see the Sea of Tranquility. We're kind of not in the right orientation. Easiest thing to do would be to just roll from the position we're in right now. So we're in free mode, direct control is on. We're just going to roll the spacecraft over. Ooh, no. High rate. This is a lot longer mission than I had anticipated. We're upside down. We're going to go into hold mode just so the spacecraft doesn't move. And we're going to go look out the window. And we should be able to see the Sea of Tranquility. Although I think it's going to be off to our other side over there. Out this window. So we might just roll the ship just a little bit more. Just a few degrees. I had a better view of what I was looking at here. That's a really awful one. Over some dark spots, over some light spots, sea of tranquility over here. I think we might even have to yaw slightly, but that's okay. See anything better out of this side? That should be the Sea of Tranquility there. Oops, wrong button. Not really over it, not looking at it enough. Easy fix. Camera, we got this great big crater here, which I think is just out my window. It was. Alright, cool. Done. End mission. Campaign. What's next? Thrust of the engineers. Crew's ready to go home. It's time to go home. Lunar orbit, we're going to prepare for trans-Earth injection and get on a return trajectory back to the Earth. Later, another time. For now, I'm done. It's late. I'm going to get ready for bed. Thanks for everyone that watched and commented. It was actually nice having people on here chit-chatting. That was really cool. Appreciate you guys. All of you, everyone. Later, Vader.